Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or are a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Talking with the experts.
Joe Pallo in episode 491 shares with us the logical way to make the emotional sale.
What else? That's a dig-in question. We just want to be comfortable. What does that look like? That's another dig-in question. And I'm using their voice to fill up their emotional bucket. That's what happens. The dig-in questions get them to tell me what they want and why they want it. That's what I'm going to close on. So when I'm going through this earning piece, I'm asking, what do you mean? What does that look like? Can you give me an example? Say that again. Those are all dig-in questions. And I do dig-in question after dig-in question because basically they're telling me how to sell them. Is that making sense? I kind of got on the roll.
Talking with the experts.
Do you love your podcast and dislike the editing and uploading to the various platforms? Would you like to spend this time with your family and friends or work on your business? Podcast editing doesn't have to be a chore. Talking with the Experts partners with podcasters who need help with audio and content editing. If you'd like to know more, contact me, Rose Davidson, using the link showing now, or send me a private message. Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is all about business, by business owners, for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And if you like what you're seeing or what you're listening to, don't forget to go over to the channels and hit that subscribe or follow button. I'd really appreciate it. My next guest is Joe Pallo, and Joe's going to be discussing with us how to sell nothing, the logical way to make the emotional sale. And we were talking off camera about how I find my brain doesn't equate the concept of sale is service. So I'm hoping that Joe will enlighten me on all the good things I need to know. Now, Joe is a sales coach and a game-changing trainer to top producers. Joe has guided hundreds of clients across multiple industries to double or even triple their production without working harder. His point of differentiation is his emphasis on mastering the art of the emotional connection, building on 35 plus years of direct selling experience and well over 30,000 sales calls. Oh my God, his ears must be talked off. He empowers top performers to follow his earning system. It's E.A.R.N.I.N.G system to bring about decisive and lasting results across industries ranging from financial services to retail to agriculture. He says that the two most powerful words in sales are what else? They are also the most underused. Joe, welcome to Talking with the Experts. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Rose. I'm glad to be here. This is fun.
So how did you get to be doing what you're doing?
Well, I'm really good at selling nothing. So I wrote a book on it, and that's my consulting company. But basically, selling nothing is that focuses on the relationship versus selling the product. People buy because they like you, and there's a relationship there, and you can figure out and fix and help them. That's what causes a sale to happen.
So how do we build this relationship?
Um, a lot of times we think in sales that we have let's just hypothetically say, I would imagine you've been there, I've been there, and most of your listeners have been there, your audience has been there. We go out and we have a great meeting with somebody. Let's just say it's hypothetical before COVID, and we're sitting in the lobby. We see two people walking out of the corner of our eye, walking down the hall. One of them just happens to be your neighbor, and the other one is the person you're going to meet. And they just happen to be there, and you start talking. It's a great boost in rapport. And your neighbor even says, "You're not working with Pallo? He's awesome. You got to work with him." So it's a great start to the meeting. And then we go and have a meeting, and it just rolls. It's a boost in rapport, and we're still in the room. We're in his office now, and we're talking about the fish in the wall. And you see a picture of your buddy from 8th grade. And you talk about that Yahoo for a while. And again, it's a great meeting. He's laughing at your jokes. He's asking questions. This is just like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10, almost like a Norman Rockwell, just a great, perfect meeting. And it's ended by, "Joe, can you come back in 2 weeks? I want to see a proposal." We've had those meetings, right? Then 2 weeks come by, and we're salespeople. So we're getting ready because we wait 2 weeks because we can. We're still trying to finish up the proposal. And you get a voicemail and it says, "Hey, Joe, I've got a kid who's homesick, so I can't be in work. I can't be there. Can we see another 2 weeks? Let me know if that works. Thanks, buddy. I'll see you." And it's like, okay, it's all right. He called me buddy. We're still friends. We just bumped it 2 weeks down the road. Then another 2 weeks go, and we're still finishing our proposal, just again, because we're salespeople. And you get another voicemail, "Joe, now I'm sick. I'm not going to be in. Can you call my admin and set up a time?" Maybe it takes us a month to get back in. This time, his admin walks you down the hall and knock on the door, and he says, "Yeah, come on in. I got to finish this email." You have 30 seconds of silence. He's typing. And then he says, "Hey, 2 things. I got called across town. I have to cut this a little bit short. I want to see your proposal." And we kind of jump back in, but it's different. That warm, fuzzy meeting, it's weird where he's quiet. He's not laughing at jokes. His arms are crossed. He's looking at his watch. He's looking at his computer. And you walk out of there with, "I need to think about it. Call me in 3 months." And we never get back in to see him. We've all been there, correct? Rose, you've been there. Okay. Well, the people, when I coach the people, they say, "What's happening at that second meeting? I'm screwing up that second meeting." In reality, it's the first meeting where we messed up. And I say it this way: in sales, there's 2 sales or 2 buckets. I'm very kind of simple, that need to be filled before you get the next step. There's a logical sale or a logical bucket. There's an emotional sale, emotional bucket. Both buckets are important. Both have their value. But if you have to pick one as more important, which one would you pick as most important?
I would pick the emotional one.
And just curious, why is that? You're right. I agree. But why is that?
Because people normally buy with emotion. They don't buy with logic.
Absolutely. Yep. That logical sale is important because it confirms the sale and it needs to happen. But you're not going to have a sale until you get them emotionally engaged. Okay? That first meeting, I had both buckets filled. I got the next step. Now let's talk about the buckets. The logical bucket is filled with my voice, the salesperson. And it's math. And I'm really good at it. I've got a marketing partner behind me, and we can just spew all these facts. But that bucket's finite. When you have a bucket that's full of water, you can't put more water in it. You have a client that's logically sold. We can't sell logic anymore. Now, the emotional bucket is filled with their voice. It's what they want and why they want it. Emotions are weird and fickle things, and they change and they don't make sense. When I left that meeting, I had both buckets filled, and I got the next step. When I came back in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever it is, the logical bucket's still full. The emotional bucket has holes in it. They're not going to emotionally engage at that second meeting or they're not going to go forward until I get them emotionally engaged. Is that making sense?
Yep.
And that's the essence of selling nothing, is getting them emotionally engaged. I've got an acronym, a process how to work through that. But did that make sense for you? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I think you had to build that rapport again the second time, rather than just go in there and hope that they'd accept your proposal and you have a sale. So you've got to engage with them again and build that same friendliness that you built up in the first meeting.
Well, it's at that second meeting, He asked for, hey, I got to be in time. Let me see your proposal. He wanted to see the logical piece. And you jump right in to do that. They're not going to do anything. I would have been better served saying, well, we can do that. Before we do that, let's talk about what are we trying to accomplish here? Well, why is that important? Well, tell me more about that. And I'm letting his voice fill up that emotional bucket. Once I get full, now I can go ahead and complete the logic, and then now they're going to act.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a heap of sense. It's so you're actually interested in what they have to say, or pretend you are, or do whatever it is you need to be to get that emotional bucket to be filled again. So so you've got to ask them about them, because really the sale is about them. It's not about me.
Yep. Or I'll say this. Doctors can't fix you until you tell them how and why. We can't sell anyone until they tell us how and why. It's the weird part is I need them to tell me. Most people come in and say, I want to sell my product. I want to do this. I'm flip that around. It's easier to sell what they want to buy than sell what I want to sell. And I'll say that again. It's easier to sell what they want to buy than sell what I want to sell. I want to sell insurance, or I want to sell this piece or whatever, this product or this widget. Doesn't matter. Why do they want to buy it? What is it fixing? Once I have them talking about that, now everything else makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. That totally makes sense. So why do they want a particular service or product? You need to find out why they want that before they'll commit to the sale.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is interesting. Thank you. That makes heaps of sense. Now tell me about your earning system. How does that work? What does it mean? And how is it of benefit in selling nothing?
Well, sales is like you have a battle plan, and you have everything all organized the night before the battle. The battle starts, you take the plan and chuck it out the windows. It's kind of like a sales call. You think it's going to go this way. As soon as it starts, you chuck it out the window. Earning is an acronym that allows us to pivot and go through it, but keeps us on track. Each letter in the word earning stands for something we'll go through in a second. But we have to earn the right to ask for the next step. And the E just stands for, I need to evaluate their current reality. I have to ask a ton of questions. It's my data gatherer, my fact finder. And I think a lot of salespeople are good at this. I look at it, if I'm going to sell a similar product in apples to apples comparison, I have to ask enough questions to know what type of apples you have. If I'm going to show you something different, apples to oranges, I still need to ask enough questions to know what type of apples you have. So E is evaluate the current reality, just get all of that out there. I think we're pretty solid on that part. The A is I literally ask, what are the advantages of what you have right now? Why do you like working with your current vendor? And I get a lot of pushback saying, Joe, I don't want to ask that. I'm like talking them into staying with their guy or their gal. And I love asking that for a couple of reasons. Is one, no one else does it. I get different results because I do things different. Second, me asking what do they like about their current vendor or their current client or their current guy or gal, it screams confidence. I'm not going to the kitchen. I'm going right where it's hot. But the biggest reason, when I ask what do they like about what they're currently doing, they're literally telling me their hot buttons. And I got to close in 5 minutes or 5 days or 5 weeks or 5 months. I'm not going to know what's important to them until I ask that question. That's the E and the A. The R is revise. What do they want to change? This is the major reason why they're going to go forward. And personally, I think that as busy as we are right now, if I'm sitting in front of somebody, they've got a problem in sales, if they got a problem in leadership, otherwise I would not be there. We're too busy. There is a problem there for having that conversation. This is the major reason why they're going to go forward. And I don't lead off with it. I want to know what they're going to change. I want to ask, what are they currently doing? What do they currently have? They evaluate their current reality. What do they like about it? What's going well? Now, what do you want to change? Then the N stands for no. Who can say no to this deal? Who else needs to be in this room? One of the worst things in sales is to go out and give your pitch and says, Joe, it's great. I got to talk to my boss. I'll talk to her and we'll get back to you. Like, now, great. I got to come back in 2 weeks or 2 months and do my dog and pony show again. Or worse, You're going to sell my product for me and you're not an expert on it. And you're going to sell me for me and you're not an expert on it. There are some times if I don't have the people in the room, I may back out. Sometimes you can't. But if I don't have the decision makers there, I do that. Maybe I won't give my price. I'm not really quite sure yet. But that's a really big sticking point that I want to know who else is going to be there. E.A.R.N.I. If there's one piece that I think everyone should take away, it's this one. Interpret back what they just said. It's hey, just for a minute, just for clarity, I'm just going to take a minute and repeat back what you just said. I'm going to go through the E and evaluate the current reality and just spew it back to them. I'm going to talk about the advantages, what they like about it. Talk about what do they want to change? What are the problems? Who can say no to it? And that's such a great, powerful piece because it's like, well, crap, Pallo, you said it better than I did. Or mentally, they're thinking, I'm on the same side of the table as he is, and I have not even started selling. It's a great spot to be in. And the biggest complaint in sales is no one's listening to me. So it's E.A.R.N. and I is interpret back. If that's one piece, and just watch their reaction. That's a huge, huge piece that they just changes the whole buying atmosphere. The second N is nothing. What if nothing changes? This gets a sense of urgency. And a lot of times we ask that question, they're going to give us some fluff. They're going to, well, I don't know, it'll be about the same. I say, what else? I'm going to dig in. I want that. I need that sense of urgency. I want, if this problem's not fixed, we're going to be in a year from now. Well, how's that going to affect this? I'm going to make them talk about it because I need that motivation for that. And then G is the gain. If you fix this problem, if this problem is gone, you cleared up 2 hours a week, what are you going to do with those 2 hours? How would that affect your business? And that earning piece is where we go through every single time I meet with them. It meshes with most sales processes. It just blends right over, but it gets them talking. Again, whoever's talking is buying. Big, big piece. In a selling situation, if I'm talking more than you are, and I'm trying to sell you, I'm literally buying your objections. That same situation, if I get you talking more than me, you're buying whatever's in my bag. This earning piece walks us through that in a natural way where we can pivot and flow and come back to it. And again, it helps them make that sale. That's a logical sale. But on top of the earning piece, there's something else I use I call dig in questions. Dig in. Dig in question, basically, they give me a what. I want to get to the why behind it. I'm just kind of thinking in my mind, whatever they're saying, well, why is that? Well, why is that? Well, why is that? Well, why is that? And you can't do that because that's creepy and weird. So I don't recommend doing that. But it's like, what else? That's a dig-in question. We just want to be comfortable. What does that look like? That's another dig-in question. And I'm using their voice to fill up their emotional bucket. That's what happens. The dig-in questions get them to tell me what they want and why they want it. That's what I'm going to close on. So when I'm going through this earning piece, I'm asking, what do you mean? What does that look like? Can you give me an example? Say that again. Those are all dig-in questions. And I do dig-in question after dig-in question because basically they're telling me how to sell them. Is that making sense? I kind of got on the roll. I apologize. I do that. I get kind of fired up.
No, absolutely perfectly said. And yeah, I loved the acronym. I think it makes a heap of sense. And yeah, and the explanation behind them was excellent. So yeah, so I'll go back, and I've got a sales call coming up this week, so it'll come in really handy.
Well, if you want, Rose, you can go to convertsalesfaster.com. Convertsalesfaster.com. It's a free download, and I recommend print it out. It's like 6 pages, and I walk you through this whole process. But it's page 4. Have it right up by your keyboard, so we can kind of remember how to do that and just see how it works. One of my clients did this. Her next 5 sales conversations were all successful because she walked them through this piece. But again, it's getting them to say what they want and why they want it.
Do you advise taking notes, Joe? I mean, writing. Why do you advise the person making the sales call writing notes, or is that rude?
Absolutely. I've been doing it for years. I will sit there and type or write it down. I'll even say, hey, is it all right? I've got 3 screens up here, or 3 monitors and 2 keyboards. Is it all right if I take some notes? No one's ever going to say no, but it's focusing on them I'm paying attention. There's years ago, I went to a seminar and someone's giving me techniques to look like you're listening, which I kind of scratch my head, say, well, why don't you just listen in the first place and just take some notes? But as I started doing it, I'm realizing this is valuable stuff. This is, I mean, if let's look at this way. If I'm going through this earning process and the whole way through, I'm asking digging question after digging question after digging question, and I'm writing it all down. But let's just say we recorded all that. Now we go back to our office and we play it back, but we edit out my voice. We've got a person sitting in the room saying what they want, why they need to fix it, why they want it. I just sell that. I don't have to be good anymore. They've just told me how to sell them. And so to answer your question, yes, I'm always writing down notes, and I ask for permission. No one's ever going to say no, because you're kind of edifying them, saying, hey, what you're saying is important. So yes, I would recommend that.
Yeah, I so sometimes say when you're writing the notes, you're not listening, and so you might miss some important information, and that's always a concern for me.
It's to the point where I am looking at that when I'm in a selling situation. If I'm not listening, I'm saying, hang on, you said I was writing something down. Can you go back? Because I'm going to sell whatever that is. There's a reason they said that. Back in my mind, I'm thinking, what happened in their past that caused them to say that? Or I want to know what that is. So if you're right, it is hard to do and keep them going. But if I miss something, I'm sorry, I was taking my notes here. Can you say that again? They're going to give it back to you. They're going to help you out.
Okay. All right. That's a technique to try. Tell me about the book, Joe.
How to Sell Nothing. It's due out in August. It'll be my first book. And it just basically walks people through the logical way to make the emotional sale. And I think we make sales a lot harder than what it is. It's pretty simple. It's if I help people get what they want, it's the old cliche, I'll get what I want. And it's true in sales. My job as a salesperson is to get you to tell me what you want, why it's important. If I can't get that emotional bucket filled, I'm not going to close, because they're not going to go forward. That's my job as a salesperson. So the book will be out August. Right now we're looking at August 1st. We have a little technical with the publisher. We're not really sure yet, but it looks like August 1st, which should be out for that.
Perfect. And where will it be available?
It'll be on Amazon, and you can go to sellnothing.co, not .com. I couldn't afford the M. Well, a Bitcoin company bought sellnothing.com. It's like 10 or 15 grand for it. So it's sellnothing.co. And I'll have links on there for it as well. And also the earning piece will be on there. As far as the convert sales faster, will be a link to that as well.
Oh, wonderful. All right. And I'll make sure that I put the link to your cheat sheet that you've got, so at convertsalesfaster.com, and I'm going to go and check that out before my meeting.
And there's one other piece I could share, because a lot of people are in sales, but also we have a team.
Yeah.
I'm not finished with my first book. My second book will probably be How to Lead No One, where we take the principles in sales and the relationship sales and how important that is in selling. But I take the word sales out and I put the word lead. And it works. If we start treating our people like our clients, that's where we get things happen. And you think about it, we logically sell clients, it doesn't work. Do we logically lead our people? It doesn't work. It's the same principles.
Yeah, that's very true. And there's difference between leading a team and managing a team. So yeah, absolutely different concepts altogether. Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. If you were to share any words of wisdom, what might they be?
I think the biggest piece is I'm not going to close until literally I can say in their words, what do they want and why do they want it? It's that simple. And I have my clients do that. I said, if you're ever going on a sales call and you have one coming up in a couple of days, at the end of the meeting, just write down, what do they want? Why did I want it? Or why do they want it? And then, did you sell that? And it kind of gives you a check on how to do that.
Cool. All right. That's good advice. And yeah, write 2 columns down, I think, and and work it out from there. Joe, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I look forward to inviting you back again.
I'd love to come back. This has been a blast. Thank you.
Excellent. Bye-bye for now.
Yep, thank you.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.